You're listening to Built for Nature, an exploration of how humans are designed to live through first principles, light, water, magnetism, and the deeper forces that shape human biology. Today, I'm going to walk through one of the more challenging but important books that I've read recently, Light in Shaping Life by Roeland Van Wijk. Roeland Van Wijk is a Dutch biologist and biophotonics researcher, recognized as a world leader in the study of biophotons. This book carries a powerful thesis. Biophotons are fundamental to life. Biophotons are ultra-weak photon emissions from living cells, and they play a crucial role in cellular communication, regulation of biological processes, and maintaining health. This is a massive revelation, and it forces us to change how we think about health. Van Wijk focuses on a phenomenon known as biophoton emission. Living cells emit ultra-weak light, actual photons. These emissions are measurable with sensitive instruments. They are not metaphorical or speculative. They've been recorded across plants, animals, bacteria, and human tissue. But Van Wijk goes further than just saying cells emit light. His deeper focus is the fact that biophoton emission reflects the organizational state of a living system. In other words, the light emitted by cells is not random. It is structured, it carries information, and it signifies the seamless coordination of life at the cellular level. One of Van Wijk's recurring themes is that healthy biological systems displayed ordered, coherent light emissions. And then, on the other hand, stressed or diseased systems showed more chaotic, disordered emission patterns. He discusses how ultra-weak photon emission changes during oxidative stress, inflammation, tissue damage, and disease progression. Biophoton patterns become more irregular when the system is under strain. This is huge because it reframes health. Instead of asking only what chemicals are present, what nutrients are deficient, Van Wijk invites a different question. How organized is the system? Health is not just the absence of pathology, it is the presence of coherent organization. Van Wijk ties biophoton emissions strongly to metabolism, specifically to oxidative processes. When electrons move through the electron transport chain in mitochondria, small amounts of energy can be released as photons. So, mitochondrial function is not just about ATP production, it also influences intracellular signaling, redox balance, and the level of photonic activity within tissue. This connects light directly to metabolic health, which means anything that disrupts mitochondrial function will also disrupt the internal organization of the organism. So Van Wijk goes on to discuss how photon emission increases during stress, but this increase is often disordered. Oxidative stress, chronic inflammation, environmental toxins, radiation exposure, these stressors increase reactive oxygen species, destabilize electron flow, and increase chaotic photon emission. In simpler terms, when biology becomes unstable at the electron level, it becomes unstable at the organizational level. And when organization breaks down, that's when disease emerges. So what does this mean for human health? Well, since health correlates with biological coherence and coherence is tied to mitochondrial and redox stability, then health becomes less about adding random interventions and more about preserving order. So what preserves order? Number one, mitochondrial health. Since mitochondria are central to redox balance and biophoton emission, then protecting mitochondrial function becomes foundational. That means foundational lifestyle practices for robust mitochondrial performance. Consistent sleep, stable circadian rhythm, regular movement, avoiding chronic overeating, minimizing toxin exposure. Anything that improves mitochondrial efficiency improves biological coherence. Number two, light hygiene. Van Wyck's work also implicitly reinforces something we already see in circadian biology. Light is not neutral. Natural sunlight is rhythmic, broadband, and evolutionarily familiar. Artificial light, especially at night, is static, narrow, and biologically novel. It's relatively new. So since cells are light sensitive, not just visually, but metabolically, then chronic artificial light exposure contributes to biological disorganization. So what do you do to preserve order and avoid chaotic photon emission? Well, be outside to see the sunrise every day. Spend time outdoors. Remove artificial light at night. Protect darkness during sleep. These are not just lifestyle aesthetics, they are coherence-preserving behaviors. Number 3, oxidative stress as organizational breakdown. So instead of seeing oxidative stress purely as free radicals damaging cells, we can now view it as instability in electron behavior, which then leads to disordered signaling, disrupted structure, and reduced coherence. So anything that stabilizes redox balance supports structure. And this includes local, seasonal, nutrient-dense whole foods, avoiding chronic overtraining, managing psychological stress, and of course, prioritizing sleep. Again, simple foundational behaviors. So the biggest takeaway from Light and Shaping Life isn't that we glow, even though that's super cool. It's that biology is organized at a deeper level than chemistry alone. Life maintains order, it resists entropy, it preserves coherence, and modern environments often push us in the opposite direction. Chronic stress, artificial light, environmental toxins, disrupted sleep, sedentary indoor living, all these introduced instability. And over time, instability accumulates, and disease emerges not as a sudden failure, but as a gradual loss of organization. So my biggest takeaway from Van Wyck's book was this: health is less about optimization and more about preserving biological order. So the practical approach becomes to stabilize your rhythms, you support mitochondrial function, reduce unnecessary stressors, align with natural light cycles, protect sleep as a daily reset. And not just because this stuff sounds ancestral, but because coherent systems thrive in ordered environments. Van Wyck's work doesn't give us a new supplement, it gives us a new lens. And through that lens, many foundational health principles suddenly look less optional. They look structural. And since life is organized by light, then the way we live either supports that organization or it slowly erodes it. And most of the time, the solution isn't complex, it's alignment. Thanks for listening.